On the same note, we're talking about the power of 1. 1 is also very powerful. 1 is not as powerful for addition and subtraction, but it's extremely powerful when we talk about multiplication and division. And last week we added the term multiplicative inverse to our vocabulary. We used to call it a reciprocal. But as a multiplicative inverse, it has a lot more power. So if we take a negative 28 and divide it by 1, I don't like using the division sign. I like fractions. So what is negative 28 divided by 1? It's just negative 28. 8. Okay? So what are we looking at when we're looking at something like this? Negative 20 divided by negative 1. What does that become? Positive 20. Because what does negative 1 really do? If you're on a number line and you multiply, and here's negative 20, and you multiply it, and here's 0, and here's positive 20. If you multiply that negative 20 by a negative 1 or divide by a negative 1, what happens? It jumps. It goes bang, way over here. It takes a trip, and it takes a long trip over that 0. So that negative 1 has a whole lot more power than we give it credit for most of the time, doesn't it? So this becomes positive 20 plus, and here's positive 13 divided by negative 1. So what happens to that positive 13? It bounces the other way. So we're going to add a negative 13 to it, and we wind up with O equal to what? Positive 7. A positive 1 and a negative 1 have a huge amount of power. They bounce things across the 0 on the number line. That negative 1 has more power than you know. Think of how far you could go just by multiplying or dividing or using a multiplicative inverse on a number. So now you see why 1s can be so powerful. Questions? Got it?
Yep.
Good.